So here we are in Italy at Gallarate. This is a track that I've ridden many times and tested a lot of different models on this track. So here today we're after the 2025 CRF range, the Honda range. You know what Honda are focused on this year considerably seems to be the rideability of their bike. Yes, there's some slight power increases, there's some modifications, but the main focus does seem to be the rigidity of the frame. Everything that's been developed, been modified and improved or tweaked, does seem to be focused on giving you the best feel out on track. Now, after I listened to the presentation yesterday, I was beginning to think this bike does sound like it's going to be too rigid, sounds like it's US spec, supercross spec, but actually out on track, what I found was that it was so pinpoint accurate. The 250, for example, the modifications on the 250, different crankshaft. You've probably maybe heard this before, but the frame, you know, components 70%, which is different, and it's all about lateral flex and rigidity. Both of the bikes as well, the suspension's been revised. I've got to say, like, listening to the riders today talk from my level, lower level, even to Conrad's level, everybody seems to be happy with the bike in standard form. If we focus on the 250 power and balance of that machine seems to be spot on for most levels. So when you're seeing people just continuously riding lap after lap after lap and not coming in and making much adjustment to their bike, you know that you're on a good test and that basically they're happy with the machine. Like I said, I've ridden this track many times before, so I've got a good understanding from different models of the bikes, and the 250 Honda was so impressive to ride, so much fun to ride. And when you're entering into the turn and just basically how the bike held through the turn, it seems like Honda have really focused on, you know, on these points, and in all honesty, it seems to have nailed it across both range. The 250, yes, it's still got a cable, it's not hydraulic, but again, it's these little tweaks, such as the linkage, such as the frame, such as the triple clamps on both models. All these little tweaks, they add up to producing a bike that most people can ride and have fun. Throughout all the testers which were riding today, they all seem to really enjoy the bike, and I certainly did. I'm way too heavy probably now for the 250F, if we're being honest, but actually this bike is so rideable and usable out on track. Going to the 450, it basically shares exactly the same development as the 250 regarding with frame, regarding suspension, triple clamps, linkage. This bike obviously has a hydraulic clutch. Both bikes share different mapping and a launch control and an electric start. And also as well, like the front brake, both of the bikes have been modified, and you might think, oh, it's a small tweak, but everything all together, you know, just ends up making a perfect package. When you come down some of these hills and you can kind of just, you know, trail that front brake, it gives you real confidence in line selection, where you need to go, whether you need to, you know, cut early into the turn, ride the rut. You know, some of the turns were quite in our sessions were quite wet and boggy, where they'd ripped and power harrowed it, and you know, you developed a single line rut. Some of the other turns hard pack, you know, or just going up onto the bank, and whatever was thrown at it, these bikes seem to have managed it and give you confidence in tackling the obstacles or basically attacking the turn. I can't stress enough how comfortable I felt. Honda are known for producing a bike that riders across all levels seem to enjoy. That echoes again in 2025, but even more so. But please don't be fooled, you know, by the fact of the new frame and the rigidity or the lateral flex. It's something that has massively improved the bike. For me, the suspension on the 450, the front forks in particular, maybe the stroke was a little bit, you know, it's a little bit too soft. It could quickly blow through the stroke. That's something maybe that I would look at, particularly on the 450, not so much on the 250. Both of the exhausts on the bikes have been tweaked and modified, but one of the things that I'd always heard in the paddock, which was a negative regarding the Hondas, was, you know, working on them, and you know, it seemed to be quite difficult to switch the shock. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. It's more of a workable bike, let's say. And one of the other things regarding with Honda, what they've worked on is airflow. Getting the airflow and the intake into the engine just ends up giving Honda a really good package. And for me, I'd be hard pushed to which bike I'd want to ride, if I'm honest. Like, yeah, the 450 made the track today with the hill climbs and some of the jumps, like maybe it made it easier for me to ride around, let's say, but I had so much fun on the 250, so it'd be difficult to decide which bike that I would want if I was a hobby rider, or or of a certain age, knowing what bike to take to go racing. As we know now, that there's so many different people that are into this sport for different reasons, whether that just be hobby riding, practice tracks, racing, vets. I just felt like they've nailed it in the terms of no matter what level you are or what age you are, you're going to feel comfortable on these bikes, and they've got you covered. So well done again for 2025 Honda. Impressive range. Well done.